Coming up on Citrus TV News Live at 6, why does one organization want new vending machines containing contraceptives on campus?
And the Israeli military claims it sent troops to its borders after 300 projectiles were launched towards its territory today. We have the details of the developing events.
And we have updates on the wildfires ravaging California as they continue to take homes and lives. That and more in the next half hour. Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
A Syracuse University advocacy group is pushing for new vending machines on campus, but they aren't filled with your typical snacks. Good evening, I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Shama. Students Advocating Sexual Safety and Empowerment, or SASSE, says these proposed vending machines would like to keep products like condoms, Advil, and tissues in stock and available on campus. CitrusTV reporter Amber McElrath says is here with a SASSE member to explain the initiative. Amber?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Nicole Arambolas, who is here for SASSE. Would you mind telling me a little bit about the health and wellness vending machines?
So SASSE is trying to bring health and wellness vending machines on campus that would benefit all SU students. It would dispense condoms, lube, pads, tampons, pregnancy tests, Advil, tissues, and Plan B at a much lower price.
And why is SASSE advocating for this? How are you actively trying to promote this on campus?
Well, right now we have our petition going. So we have a petition online where students can sign signatures so that we can show administration that students really care about this and want this. We've also been contacting other universities who already have the vending machines installed and ways that they could help us bring it here. And I think we all think this is just very important for students because it's all about accessibility. Yeah, there are other resources on campus where you can get some of these things, but not 24/7. And sometimes in emergencies, like, for example, if you need an emergency contraceptive on a weekend, health services is closed on Sunday. And it's all about making it accessible for students. And it's something we can all benefit from, especially at this day and age where we have this hookup culture, and not only that with sex, but also just in general with the Advil and the pads and tampons, and yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Back to you guys at desk.
Last month, Syracuse.com started requiring its readers to pay if they wanted access to the website's articles, but they haven't exactly made it clear as to who is paying. CitrusTV reporter Rickey Sayer spoke to the news outlet to try and clear up some of the confusion.
$19.99. It's the amount Syracuse.com is asking their most dedicated readers to pay in order to continue reading articles on the site. 2 weeks ago, some readers started receiving this pop-up, telling them to subscribe to continue to access unlimited Syracuse.com content. The pop-ups have been appearing only on the screens of users who visit the site on a daily basis and consume around 6 pieces of content per day, among other factors. Now, if you're a frequent reader of Syracuse.com like we are here at Citrus TV, then you'll be able to exit out of that pop-up window 8 times before the system locks you out. At that point, you'll receive this pop-up, which says that you've reached the end of your complimentary access to Syracuse.com and you'll need to subscribe to continue reading. Tim Kennedy, president of Syracuse.com, said about 30 to 40,000 readers are affected by the change. It's likely that number will grow in the future.
If we can find more people that we think will pay us, then that's how we'll expand it.
Syracuse.com isn't calling this a paywall, preferring to call it a dynamic meter.
It's not a hard paywall where it's just 8 and you're done, 5 and you're done. It's very much developed by the algorithms and, again, what we learn in terms of acceptance.
Aileen Gallagher, a journalism professor at the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications, said Syracuse.com's digital subscription is a paywall, which she defines as a site that tracks the kind of content you read and then limits your access to it.
But not only the price is asking a lot, but again, they've asked their audience to pay nothing for years online.
Kennedy said Syracuse was the first paper in the advanced local newspaper group to receive the subscription service due to the paper's high penetration rate among Central New Yorkers. Depending on how things go in Syracuse, a similar model could be expanded to advanced local websites in states and major cities across the country. Rickey Sayer, Citrus TV News.
Thanks, Ricky. And now some new details on campus renovations. Renovations to the Shine Student Center will officially start in May of 2019. The Board of Trustees recently approved the start date, reaching a unanimous vote. This comes after more than 1,000 people provided feedback to the plans. Additions to the Student Center include spaces for diversity and inclusion offices. An end date has not yet been announced. And a fundraiser to benefit university scholars is in full bloom. The Women of the University Community Group is starting their annual poinsettia and wreath sale. It's the group's biggest fundraiser of the year, and proceeds will go to chosen SU and SUNY ESF scholars. The WUC is selling red, white, and pink poinsettias in 6 to 8 inch pots. The fundraiser is accepting orders until November 21st.
Poinsettia is coming around. You know, that means that the holidays are on this way. And for students, Thanksgiving break is closer than we think, Elijah.
Yeah, that's right. Even this week started seeing some snow. I'm really not ready for it, but
certainly.
We got to know if more's coming. Riley, what are we going to be seeing?
Well, guys, I think we can officially say we are heading into that winter season. The snow we saw over the weekend is just the beginning of what's about to hit. Taking a look outside right now, about 40 degrees and cloudy, but then as we move into tonight, we are going to see about 31 degrees for a high, some light snow accumulation, about 1 to 3 inches. So if you haven't pulled out your winter boot and your winter coats already like I have, I would do so tonight so your feet aren't all cold on your morning commute. And while the ground will have snow on it in the morning, stay tuned and I'll tell you if there's enough to build a snowman. Chris and Elijah, back to you.
The Rosamund Gifford Zoo is hosting an exhibition of art by animals titled Art Gone Wild. The exhibit features 70 paintings made by animals.
Yeah, make sure to check out the work of the distinguished red panda, elephant, and octopus when you visit. This Friday, the zoo will auction off the animals' paintings with proceeds benefiting the American Association of Zookeepers.
And a CNY native is now serving on a state committee. The New York State Democratic Committee elected Joe Rossi of North Syracuse as its vice chair this October. Rossi currently works for a political strategy firm. He also advised Juanita Perez Williams and her mayoral campaign. The state committee will lead the party's platform in identifying future candidates. And upstate New York gears up for the winter. Some New York residents can begin to apply for help staying warm. The Home Energy Assistance Program is offering $372 million in home heating assistance to lower income and middle income households. Households can receive up to $726 as long as the monthly income complies with certain guidelines. Eligible residents can apply at local service departments starting tomorrow.
In Binghamton, an active case of tuberculosis has been confirmed. In Broome County, the health department is screening a small group of people connected to the case. Binghamton University students received an alert on Friday, but were not required to get assessed unless they were contacted by the health department. As of now, the department says the case is not an immediate threat. Citrus TV will keep you updated as more info becomes available. In Albany, an Episcopalian bishop intends to ban same-sex marriages from his church. Bishop Reverend William Love released a statement Saturday saying that, quote, the gay agenda has, quote, hijacked the church. He also says that he'll not allow same-sex marriages to be presided in the Albany Episcopal Diocese. Here's a short excerpt of his 8-page statement. It says, it, quote, is not out of mean-spiritedness, hatred, bigotry, judgmentalism, or homophobia that I say this, but rather out of love for God and His Word. Many local Episcopalians disagreed with the bishop's statement, according to a church attendant. Some parishioners even burned Love's letters in response. The bishop's order comes just 3 weeks before the resolution allowing Episcopal churches in the United States to perform same-sex marriage ceremonies. And coming up after the break, bishops in Baltimore met today how to decide to handle the priests' accountability in sexual abuse cases, but were abruptly stopped before making that decision.
And some Rohingya refugees may finally be coming home, but how many people is the government allowing back? Find out after the break.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We run that PSA frequently here at Citrus TV, and this week the warning is unfortunately and chillingly relevant. At least 31 people are dead due to the wildfires spread across California. As officials say the wildfires destroyed approximately 6,700 buildings, leaving many people without homes, Elijah.
That's right. About 50% of the town of Paradise was destroyed due to the fire. Officials are still not allowing anyone into the area.
So this morning our numbers are 113,000 acres and 25% contained. Still haven't allowed anybody back into the area. There's still a lot of things going on up there, clearing power lines, basically making it safe for the residents before they can return.
And the Vatican is blocking the attempt by American bishops to hold more Catholic leaders accountable for sex abuse cases. A Vatican ambassador warned the United States that Rome does not want outside investigators looking into Catholic officials.
Bishops were attending a conference in Baltimore when they learned of the warning and decided to interrupt their original agenda to pray about the situation. Currently, there are more than a dozen ongoing criminal investigations into Catholic officials at the Vatican. A presidential hopeful made his first official campaign announcement today. Democrat Richard Ojeda announced his candidacy today in Washington, D.C. He previously lost his congressional bid in West Virginia in 2016.
Ojeda is an Army veteran who voted for Trump in the presidential election, but now criticizes the current president in campaign events. Ojeda teased the announcement in an email last night, but today he officially filed his candidacy with the Federal Election Commission.
3 statewide races in Florida will enter recounts this weekend. In the past, recounts have rarely changed the outcomes of elections, but this year there's been some controversies surrounding Florida's ballot. Citrus TV correspondent Anthony Dabbundo is here to break down the recount process for us. Anthony?
Now, the morning after the midterms, Republican Senate candidate Rick Scott held a 35,000 vote lead. Many pundits claim that the race was over, but as votes have been counted, Scott has seen his lead shrink. He now leads Democrat Bill Nelson by just over 12,000 votes, less than 0.2%. Now, every ballot will be recounted twice, first by the machines to ensure there was no error in tabulation, and then they'll be counted by hand. Now, the deadline to finish the recount process is Sunday night, but election officials say that's not enough time to count every ballot in each close race. It will be up to the courts to decide whether or not to extend the Sunday night deadline. After all, every vote hasn't even been counted yet. Overseas votes will be accepted until Friday. These votes tend to skew Democratic and could help Nelson close the gap even further. Now, a report today said that election officials in Bay County accepted some email votes. Now, Bay County is one of the counties in the Panhandle, and it was heavily affected by the Hurricane Matthew, which hit earlier this year. So they accepted 147 email ballots, which is illegal. Now, both Scott and President Trump have made claims that voter fraud is influencing the election after Broward County missed its deadline to report its initial final vote tally. Now, Broward was at the center of the 2000 controversy in the Bush v. Gore race. It's the most Democratic county in the state. Now, there's been no evidence of any voter fraud, according to the 2 election observers. And Broward County has an unusual phenomenon this year. The ballot for Broward County, the governor's race was at the top of the ticket, the Senate race all the way down at the bottom. That could be a reason why there were 30,000 less total votes for the Senate than there were for the governor's race. It could be a computer error, or it could be that voters just didn't see it. That meant that voters didn't see the Senate race at the bottom of the ticket. Now, Scott looks like he's going to hold on and win, but knowing Florida's election history, anything is possible.
We'll definitely be watching closely. And new details on the Rohingya refugee crisis. Myanmar government officials say that they are allowing more than 2,000 refugees to return to their home country. Relocation starts Thursday.
Officials also say that for each day for 2 weeks, 150 people will return from Bangladesh to Myanmar. UN officials, however, believe the area is not yet ready for the people's return. According to UNICEF's website, there are nearly 700,000 refugees in Bangladesh. Right now, there's no word yet on when exactly the rest are scheduled to relocate. The Israeli military says it rushed extra troops to the boundary after at least 300 projectiles were launched towards its territory today. This follows the death of 8 people after what Palestinian officials say was a covert Israeli operation in Gaza. According to the Palestinian sources, an Israeli military unit traveled into Gaza and attacked a Hamas commander.
The two sides exchanged fire and killing an Israeli soldier. Israel has not yet commented on why they ran the operation. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cut his armistice day visit to Paris short following the incident. Brexit negotiations are still in progress with no word on a final deal yet. The EU's chief negotiator canceled a press conference today after a negotiator told government ministers that no deal had been reached.
Ireland's foreign minister says the negotiations have now reached a critical stage. Key issues are still in discussion, such as avoiding a border between Ireland and Northern Ireland. After the break, Riley Burg tells us what we can expect of the weather in the coming week. Stay with us.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader. From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
And welcome back to Citrus TV News. As far as temperatures for tomorrow, we can expect anywhere from the high 30s, as we see in Syracuse, to the low 40s, as we see in Elmira. Now, looking at snow accumulation tomorrow, as we talked about, or tonight, I'm sorry, we talked about anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, just a little bit of a wind. But then as we move into tomorrow, we can expect some high winds, about 1 inch of accumulation throughout the day. And then as we get into tomorrow night, about 2.5 inches throughout the night. And again, just those heavy winds. So please bundle up tomorrow. And same for Wednesday, you're going to want to bundle up again, about 28 miles per hour for winds, and then 3.5 inches of accumulation. So we will be getting a lot of snow. I don't know if it's enough to build a snowman. I guess you'll just have to be the judge of that. And looking at our 5-day forecast, we're just seeing snow throughout the whole week. We have that snowstorm Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we get a break Thursday. And then as we move into the weekend, again, more snow. And this is actually going to be a snowstorm that is expected to hit at the Gulf Coast of Mexico and then move into Canada. Now, the storm will bring heavy rains, flooding, winds, and low clouds. And all of these weather conditions are going to make for some tricky traveling. So as you head home for Thanksgiving, here are some things to think about and plan for. As we see down here, Florida and North Carolina are expected to get thunderstorms, so there will be some delays there. You can also expect delays in Michigan, New York, and then in West Virginia. So please be careful as you are traveling and be safe.
On the other side of the break, dome turnover season is upon us. The football team honored its seniors on Friday, and the men's basketball team took on Morehead State on Saturday. All of that and more from this past weekend, right after this.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. I'm Adam Unger. Now, Syracuse hasn't gotten the best of Louisville during the Dino Babers era. Both outings have been at least 30-point losses. But the seniors wanted to flip the script on their last game ever in the Carrier Dome on Friday. And the Orange might have been all smiles before the game, but they were all business, and it started with the running game. Late first quarter, Jarvion Howard plows into the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown run. That puts the Orange up 7-0. Let's take you ahead to the second quarter now, and it would be the running game again. Mo Neal breaks through to the second level, goes 67 yards to the house, 17-7 with 9 minutes left in the second quarter, and the defense takes over from there. Juwan Pass fumbles on the read option, recovered by Alton Robinson. Syracuse continues to build on its lead. Here's a pass intercepted by Andre Sisco, and this one is the worst of them. Juwan Pass is going to be rolling out to his right here. Whoops, drops the ball, no contact. Kingsley Jonathan recovers, and suddenly the Orange are up 30 at halftime, and here's the dagger. Eric Dungy, long ball to Nykeem Johnson, 65 yards to the house. That put the Orange up 51-14, and Eric Dungy would leave the field with a standing ovation in the fourth quarter as the Orange win 54-23. And after the game, Dino Babers touched on the legacy of this senior class.
A couple of head coaches, a whole bunch of coordinators, numerous players in and out, some players that are with us, some players that left that didn't have faith, belief without evidence that we could get it done. And I'm just really proud about that class and the things that they were able to achieve. And, you know, they'll be etched in stone forever. Everybody will always remember the 2018 class and the season when they went undefeated at home. It'll be really special.
And the next day, Jim Boeheim's bunch took to the court against Morehead State. Now, in case you lost track, that's 2 straight games to start the season against some Eagles. Must be something about the 2K Empire Classic. Now, it was also the second game without Frank Howard, so Tyus Battle would have to be running the point. But O'Shea Brissett starts the game running the show. He hits a 3-pointer to put the Orange up 5-0. And how about this? gets the feed from Jalen Carey, posts up, and one. O'Shea would also nail the free throw, and Syracuse goes up 25-11, but that'd be the biggest lead that they'd get in the first half as Morehead State kicks it off with a coast-to-coast steal and layup from A.J. Hicks, and all of a sudden, Syracuse's lead is only 6 going into halftime, and that three-pointer from Jordan Walker cuts it in half. Missed three? No problem. Lamontre Harris with the put-back slam. Suddenly, Syracuse is still only up by 1 possession, but they pick up the pace as Tyus Battle picks up another and one here. He would have 18 of his 23 points in the second half, and in the final seconds, slams it with authority. That made it 84-68, and the final is 84-70. Now, the men's soccer team has qualified for the College Cup for the 4th time in the last 5 years, and as the 16 seed, the Orange has a first-round bye. The first game is at SU Soccer Stadium on November 18th, and the Orange will host a winner of a first-round match between Akron and Ryder. SU already topped Akron 3-1 on October 1st, and if they move on to the third round, well, top-seeded Wake Forest would likely be on deck. But Syracuse did hand Wake its only regular season loss last month. And tonight, the G-Men are in action on the West Coast. The New York Giants are taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The two cellar dwellers both need a win in a big way. The Niners season went down with the loss of quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Giants' offense is 31st in rushing yards per game. Should be a low-scoring affair. Kickoff is set for 8:15 p.m., guys.
Adam, so the Giants and the San Francisco 49ers both trying to avoid that group of teams that have lost 5 games in a row with the Jaguars and the Raiders. What do they need to do tonight, the Giants, to come out with a win at home?
Well, I think the Giants really just need to keep playing their game, and that actually is in the passing attack. Eli Manning is leading a top 10 passing offense for the Giants right now, so if they take it to the air against these 49ers, they shouldn't have that much of a problem staying out of that very bottom of the entire league.
All right, Adam, thank you so much.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it.
And we'll be right back after the break.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
And welcome back. This is Catherine Burgandy, a freshman here at SU, and she bundled up as she was heading to classes this morning. That is definitely what you are going to want to do this week. Bundle up with your coat and your winter boots.
Okay, the icon that created the Marvel superheroes we love has died. Stan Lee was 95 years old when he passed away in a Los Angeles hospital this morning.
Lee started working in the comics industry in 1939. He created characters such as Spider-Man, the Hulk, and my personal favorite, Iron Man. His goal was to change superheroes so that they were more relatable to the audience. You can even see him acting in his frequent cameos during Marvel movies. His career lasted almost 80 years. He will be sorely missed.
That's all the time we have for you tonight. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook for your round-the-clock coverage. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Elijah Shama. Tune in to a new episode of Talking Points at 7:30 featuring myself and Galat Malamed. Have a good night, Syracuse.